Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the show, Reels and Wheels, the Creatives Hub. I am Esther Olaomi Oyedola. Today, with no exception, we have an amazing guest in the house. But you know how we do it. Before we introduce our guest, we'd like to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Get days where your sun in no go shine. You go get days where your sky in no go blue. You go get days where your pocket go day dry. But never forget, God sits on the throne. You go get days where money no go day bank. You go get days where ideas go blank. You go get days your world go there upside down. But never forget, God is in control. Even on days where your sun begin to shine, on days where your sky don't turn blue, on days where money in your pockets, never forget, God sits on the throne.
I am speechless. I think you should do the introduction yourself.
Well, I'm really excited to be here with me. My name is Neken Chuwang. I'm a singer, songwriter, a sociologist, an entrepreneur.
It's good to have you here with us in the studio.
Thank you very much. It's really great to be here.
Thank you. All right, so when did this journey started?
I'm always tempted to say from birth.
Wow.
Yeah, because I grew up to a family with lots of music. My dad is a clergy who loves music. My mom is a musician as well, with like 2 albums to her name. Yes, so I grew up to a lot of music in the church, from home, and they were deliberate about it for us. But then officially, I started music 2014.
Okay.
Yes, 2014 with the single Muffin. Yeah, so that was me officially launching out as a musician. But music has always been a part of me.
So we like to say music is your calling or your purpose.
Yeah, I see it as that.
And so you saw no other thing growing up but just music?
Well, no, I've also loved to add value, even aside music. Recently, I remember that at a very tender age, that's around the whole choir thing, I also started selling pure water.
Wow.
Yes, I told my dad I wanted to sell pure water because people were always coming to the church, and we were in Abuja at that point. Abuja is hot, so they were in demand for water, and then I just found myself deciding I wanted to. So I think entrepreneurship and music is something I would say I've always had in me, and I've found ways to express themselves before now being majorly.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been interesting chatting with you, but before we go further with the conversation, we'd like to take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still on Reels and Wheels. What are the challenges you've encountered in your journey?
Okay, so starting out, there was the challenge of, I would say, age, because there were certain platforms, like I said, 2014, I was quite young, just fresh out of secondary school, going into the university. And then there were certain platforms that some people felt they couldn't trust a little boy with. But then God has pulled through over the years since we're here. I believe it's by His grace. And then there's also been the challenge of finance.
Okay.
Yes, it's always a challenge for most creatives. Like, you have so much you want to share with the world, but then what it takes to produce it, what it takes to promote it, what it takes to keep doing it. Yes, it can be really tasking. So that was one of the challenges I faced. So I would say those were it. And then there was also balancing school and music. Yeah, while I was in the university, there was that challenge.
So we can say you've gotten your highs and your lows.
Most definitely.
So what are your highs? That level where you feel so proud of yourself and you just want to keep going.
Well, awards have been one of the highs for me, because it's just more like saying we see what you're doing, we appreciate what you're doing, and then when it goes to voting and then people genuinely get to vote for you, it tells you that you're making an impact. So yeah, the awards have been one of those things that for me has been a high point. And then sharing platforms with people I love and respect, like Dr. Panampasi Paul, Solomon Lange. Yeah, so these I will say have been majorly my high points. And then aside that, the third one will be receiving testimonies and messages from people both online and offline about what God has used my music to do for them.
Wow. All right, so with all this you've said, you will leave me to see that you've not gotten to that point where you told yourself, I don't want to do this anymore.
Every person, I believe every person in life gets to a point where they question what they're doing.
So you've questioned yours?
I have multiple times. Now, one of the frustrations for me has been everybody knows you, everybody celebrates you, but your bank account is not saying that. So you get to feel like, is this thing really worth it and all of that? But then you remember the bigger purpose you get. But then you remember that once upon a time, you prayed and fasted for just one of these things. And God has now given you this thing. So it's a thing to be excited and grateful for.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been interesting chatting with you. But before we go further with the conversation, we'd like to take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still on Reels and Wheels. What is the important part of being an artist for you? Is it the fame, the money, or the passion?
For me, it's the impact.
Okay.
It's the impact, yes. Knowing that there is a life today that can be changed because of the song I'm about to put out. Knowing that there's a life today that might get lost because I refused to tread this road. For me, that is the most significant part.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how do you see the world without music? Just imagine the world without music.
One word is boring. Music brings life. Like right now, I'll ask you to just go through your mind and imagine a radio where it's just news. Or a TV station where we're just hearing news, and then there's no soundtrack to even usher in the news. There's no soundtrack after the news, and then you're just hearing voices everywhere. So it's just voices and pictures on TV, on radio, and all of that. Like, it's too boring.
All right, so I think we should leave that for the viewer out there to you know.
Imagine it. I'm sure that you don't want the world like that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been interesting chatting with you, but before we go further with the conversation, we'd like to take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still on Reels and Wheels. So, Mr. Neken, right? Neken.
Yes,
sorry. So, what are your previous projects? What have you worked on for?
Okay, the first song I told you about Mafang, it ended up being part of my first body of work. Okay. The album was titled Grateful, a 16-track album. And yeah, it ran, I put out a couple of videos from it. Chineka So the Focus album is the second project.
Okay.
Yeah, and it came out October 27th. And it's really been doing well. I'm really excited about what God is doing for me.
All right, so we should be expecting more from
Yeah,
you.
a whole lot more videos, more projects. Basically, right now, we'll disturb the world with Focus album until they focus.
All right, you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so we'd like to play a game with you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, are you ready?
I believe so.
Okay, so the game,
Okay.
it is called This or That.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get to pick one among the options we'll give you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Money or love?
Love.
Why love?
Because when people love you, everything they have and everything they'll ever have gets to be yours. So if the world can love you, their money is yours. Yeah.
All right, cats or dogs?
Phew, dogs.
Okay, black or white?
White.
Would you prefer homemade food or fast food?
Sweet homemade food.
I don't know.
No, I need to specify. You know, if homemade food is sweet, you will not want outside food. But if homemade food is not sweet, you prefer outside food. In my case, homemade food is sweet, so homemade food.
Yeah. All right. So, which of your projects would you like to, keep making over and over again?
Okay, I will say the song "Never Forget." I feel there's so much in it. Yeah, there's so much expression that is yet to be tapped from it. But like I said earlier on, some of these things need resources and all of that.
So Never Forget is a song he sang for us before we, got into the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what advice would you give to anyone out there who wants to be an artist like you, a gospel artist like you?
Well, I'll tell them to have a reason for doing it, beyond the money, like we've spoken, beyond the fame. Yeah, beyond even being liked. Have a deeper reason for doing what you do. That's what keeps you going on days when every other thing gives up on you. The fact that there's a deeper meaning to it.
All right. Yeah. So you've heard Mr. Chuwang. Find your purpose and keep doing what you do. All right, so we've come to the end of today's episode on the show Reels and Wheels, the Creatives Hub. I remain your host, Esther Olawome Oyedela. Please do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms as displayed on the screen. Like, share, and comment. We need your feedbacks. Thank you very much. Until we meet again. Bye.